Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, today I have a couple of ghostly encounters to tell you all about today, folks. One, this hellhound, or venom dog, was seen with glowing eyes in New Jersey, and another account with this phantom figure in a car that was submerged in water. Both accounts are interesting and terrifying. So let's get into the first one. Glowing-eyed black dog encounter at bridge crossing with an ominous presence in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. Let's get into the account now, folks, and read the whole story. There are moments in the Pine Barrens when the silence feels older than the forest itself, and when a simple walk can open the door to something ancient. This encounter, shared by a parent and teenage son along Cedar Creek, reveals a red-eyed entity, spectral dogs, cursed wanderers, and Jersey Devil manifestations. What followed after this brief moment on the trail suggests that such meetings carry consequences far beyond the encounter itself. Either way, let's now get into the witness's account. Yes, it was in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. I was taking a walk one day with my teenage son. As we approached a bridge over Cedar Creek, we noticed a young man and a medium-sized black dog on the trail. The boy was turned away from us and didn't respond to our hellos, which was unusual in this small town area. I was struck by how dingy he looked. Everything about him appeared grayish and drained, from his skin and hair to his faded black t-shirt. Well, that does sound bad, folks. But let's continue and hear exactly how terrifying this account actually is. The dog, however, turned to look at us as we passed. It had shiny black fur, curly around the shoulders and neck, and a tail that curved upwards with pointy ears, but most striking were its eyes, which glowed with swirling red and orange plasma. No pupils at all, staring directly at us. It remained perfectly still. We continued walking over the bridge and down the sandy trail. It wasn't long before my son spoke up, saying, "Hey Mom, did you see that dog?" "Yeah," I replied. "It had glowing red eyes, didn't it?" I remember hearing that European myths suggest you're not supposed to talk about such encounters, but I did. To say that bad luck followed would be an understatement. Eventually, I consulted some local witches and got a candle and a ritual to perform that helped a lot. Since then, I have read about a local legend involving a cabin boy and a black dog. There are also stories of the Jersey Devil appearing as a man accompanied by a dog with glowing red eyes. The bridge we crossed is known locally for weird encounters of all kinds. Isn't that interesting, folks? There's also some commentary. Let's read that now. This report, plasma-like glowing eyes, the absence of normal animal behavior, and the strangely muted emotional presence of the human companion. The witness's description of grayish coloration, emotional detachment, and refusal to engage suggests a possible entity pairing rather than a simple one. The immediate misfortune that followed matches a long-standing belief that acknowledging such encounters strengthens the entity's influence. The ritual's effectiveness may indicate a metaphysical rather than physical origin. So, was this actually an encounter with maybe the Jersey Devil, folks? Or maybe one of the black-eyed kids. Remember, this kid had dingy clothes, and it reminds me of various descriptions of the black-eyed kids wearing hoodies and other such dark and dingy garments, for a lack of a better description, folks. But then again, this entity, or entities, was very much like various, Jersey Devil encounters. Like they said, folks, it resembled one of the stories that if you encounter this boy and his dog, that it's actually the Jersey Devil. So very interesting, folks. But now, let's move on to the next article. Mysterious figure seen in submerged car near Country Road accident. Let's get into this possible encounter with maybe a demon or even a ghostly apparition, folks. At least that's the feeling I get from reading the article. Let's find out what it actually is by reading the story. A drive through a rural stretch ended in a sudden accident that should have been straightforward, but what happened next raised more questions than answers. Multiple passerby insisted they saw a man sitting inside the witness's waterlogged car, even though she was absolutely alone. Encounters like this challenge the boundary between a guardian presence and unexplained manifestations, leaving the unsettled. Leaving the unsettled indeed, folks. But now, everyone, let's continue. One night, I was driving to see my lover. I was emotional, battling a lot of things internally. I'm not sure how relevant that is to the story, but it was what it was. I had the music blaring, and it was rain. As I drove down a country road, suddenly I realized I was about to miss my turn, so I took it way too fast and sharp, hydroplaned into a drainage ditch and missing a big stop sign. By just a couple of feet, my car ended up sitting in about 3 feet of water on the driver's side, so I crawled out through the passenger side. I noticed a light at the house on the hill above the ditch I was stuck in, so I figured I should go and let the homeowner know I was in his ditch and that AAA was on the way to tow me out. He was nice and walked out to meet me. While we were standing in his yard, he asked, "Are you alone? It looks like someone's in your car." I felt weirded out because I was a girl alone on a country highway, so I replied, "No, but people are on their way, blah, 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 blah." He shrugged it off and went back inside. I stood by the side of the road waiting for AAA since there was water in my car. A car rolled up and the driver opened the window to ask if I was all right. After some small talk, they asked again if someone was in my car. I explained that people were on their way, but no, it was just me. They drove away. It was a bit strange, but I tried to dismiss it. I would have to say, folks, yeah, you'd want to dismiss it because remember, this was this emotional girl here, and she probably didn't want to hear about some mysterious entity in her car. But let's continue, folks, and hear the rest of the story. I looked behind me to see if shadows or something might be causing the illusion of a man in my car, but I saw nothing. I wouldn't have thought much about it, but then another person drove up and asked me the same thing. When I told him no, he said, "Are you sure?" I responded a bit annoyed. Why does everyone keep saying that? No, AAA is on the way. I'm alone and I'm fine. I was starting to get frustrated, and amidst all the stress, it didn't register how bizarre it was that 3 different people from 3 different angles claimed to see a man in my car, while I saw nothing. Now, I like to think it might have been my guardian angel or my grandfather looking out for me, but I can't explain it. M. So, M here doesn't sound like she's a skeptic. She thinks that there was something definitely behind her now, because all these different people who were driving by and asking her said they saw something. So, was it her guardian angel or even her grandfather? Maybe, but let's save off any more, theorizing until after we read the commentary. The fact that 3 unrelated observers saw the same form in the car from different angles significantly reduces the likelihood of pareidolia, or reflected shadows. This pattern aligns with guardian presence encounters, deceased relative apparitions, or rare cases of ultra-terrestrial overlay manifestation in which a presence is visible to others, but not to the experiencer. The encounter's timing and emotional context also resemble multiple decades of different encounters very similar to this one. And I have to say, I agree with that, folks. At least that's, I'm pretty sure, what they were trying to say at the end of that article. But now, folks, what do you think that this woman actually encountered? As well as what did the witnesses in the first story also encounter? Was this possibly an encounter with a guardian angel? Or do you think it was some sort of demonic entity that was behind this woman? Maybe it was this entity that caused her to have an accident. I mean, I would not be surprised if it did, folks, but I can't be for sure. All we know for sure, folks, is this entity seemingly was there with her, and other people definitely said that they saw it. This woman's account is very strange, folks. But what about the first account? With this possible encounter with basically this very odd manifestation of the Jersey Devil, basically manifesting as both a boy and a dog simultaneously. Do you think that this really was some sort of, Jersey Devil encounter? I mean, why would this entity have the ability to manifest in 2 forms at once? Both the glowing, red-eyed, hellhound-like form and this almost disheveled and dark young man. Now, could it have been some sort of, ability to influence the perspective of the witnesses here, folks, and that the reality is far different than what they actually saw, folks? We don't know. But both accounts are certainly very strange, folks, and bring up, once again, the idea, maybe the ultra-terrestrial hypothesis, or maybe some sort of spiritual or even alien presence in these accounts. At least basically with the one with the Jersey Devil encounter, folks, because in that area, people have seen UFOs in the Pine Barrens for decades. This account with basically this mysterious stranger? Maybe. Either way, we're at the end, folks, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the description of the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications. And please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.